Zambia is a young nation with more than half its population under age 19. The nation's growth and prosperity depend on the health and productivity of its young people. Although Zambia's policies support young people's rights to access contraceptives, in practice, people under age 16 are often required to obtain parental consent before they can obtain services. Policies encourage providers to offer information and counseling to adolescents who cannot obtain consent, but they do not offer guidance on whether or how to provide services.
Speaking as a medical doctor and someone who has been in the hospital providing services before, young people struggle with access to commodities.
If I am a young person today and I decide to go to the clinic and access condoms, the clinic should not say, no, you're too young.
The barriers to accessing services are reflected in Zambia's teen pregnancy rates, which are high and have changed little over the past 28 years.
We have quite a good number of adolescents who are younger than 16 that are in need or actually do come through to seek these services.
One of the challenges that is so common for the service providers is age of consent.
Many young people do not seek services because they fear being asked to return with a parent or return with a signed consent form, which parents are unlikely to give because of cultural norms and taboos.
I would say to them, go back and come with your parent to sign this form, the consent form.
Most of them, their parents don't even know they're sexually active, so they fail to tell their parents to sign the consent form, so they just go back and stay at home.
For us providers, we can't make the decision for them because the laws actually limit us.
Sometimes providers are willing to provide services, but they are afraid of the implications, legal implications of doing things because the law is not very clear. There are policy provisions that say that a healthcare provider can give a service to a young adolescent at their discretion, but even that is not clear because what does one individual's discretion look like in comparison to another person? Because we also have to factor in cultural and religious barriers.
Many providers feel they do not have clear direction from policies and legislation and are left on their own to interpret and apply Zambia's policies to youth seeking contraceptives.
I was trained as a doctor and at no point was I taught about what the age of consent to services and all these things. So it's not deliberately stated in the curriculum. But also some of the policies, they are not harmonized.
There's just need for everyone to come on board and just be able to make sure that services are there and readily available to be accessed by young people.
The nation now has to deal with the repercussion of the huge number of teenagers that are fallen pregnant. We are spending a lot of money. We would have spent less money in preventing them.
When adolescents and young people are able to access contraceptive services, they have a better chance of achieving their goals and making a positive difference in our society.
If somebody has access to contraceptives or family planning, it's very easy for them to plan their future.
If a young person accesses family planning, they will spend more years in school, which will have a better social and economic benefit for them and for their future.
So what we need is all of us to work together, the parents, the guardians, as well as the health providers, in making sure that our adolescents are able to access the commodities that they would want.
Increasing young people's access to contraceptives when they seek services will require action by the government of Zambia. The Ministry of Health should clarify policies on the provision of contraceptive services for adolescents lacking parental consent and integrate guidelines on contraceptive counseling for adolescents into the pre-service curriculum for all healthcare workers.
I would encourage government to prioritize these issues of contraceptives because one, they are helping young people. One, people who accesses these contraceptives, the better the community, the better the country.